What is up, everyone? This is Ike, and this is Food and Philosophy episode 50! 50! 50! Yeah, 50 of them. Got the paparazzi outside right now. But I'm hungry. Episode 50. So, I just realized there's a green screen. This bag of chips just disappeared? So my guys at Out of Town Pop, go follow them at Out of Town Pop. Got me again another basket of goodies. I got the Sichuan peppercorn chicken, Doritos, and the Mandarin chocolate waffle. And then these Hi-Chews, Lilikoi, they're from Hawaii only, ironically, coincidentally. I ended up going to Hawaii, so I saw these. He gave these to me, so I didn't need to buy them. Good thing. So we got, I'll do these last since they're a little chewy. We'll start with Sichuan peppercorn chicken. I need a drink because my throat is already. Do, 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 do. I love updates. Caffeine energy without the caffeine. And I only need like half of these too before I'm on one. You can get those at the Chico Ikes and the New Orleans Ikes. Apparently in Korea, they're stronger than I am because I can't open this bag. What's up? Iggy Highway and Junebug. Thanks for the Mac, like in the Hollywood and the Mac Can sandwich. Doesn't smell like Sichuan peppercorn chicken, but let's find out. I'll do this so you can see it, so there's no green screen, unless it's still going to disappear. It's got a little sugar in there, and I don't think it needs that. My whole tongue is like radiating in spice. What's up, Carito and Fatty Fa? Right. All right, so Sichuan peppercorn chicken. I'm gonna go with. I know I had that like some Cheetos from them before, that were like barbecue steak. Those were delicious. These ones, I'd pass. I wouldn't get this one again. He had like 50 flavors though of Doritos, so I'm not worried about it. I'll go find another flavor. All right. I'm gonna miss a chip, so I kind of want to keep eating it, but don't need to. It's just because I'm hungry. And then here's the Mandarin waffle from Korea. Hershey's. Fun fact: Hershey's was my landlord when the original Ikes moved across street. Hershey's was my landlord for a minute. I was subleasing from them. All right, let's see this one. Overall, I'm not a big chocolate guy, but let's see. Mandarin chocolate waffle. Oh, it's a waffle. I was thinking it was waffle shaped or chocolate. Like, okay, so it's actual waffle. Let's see. All right. It smells like it has alcohol in it. Now, some people like orange and chocolate don't mix. I'm like orange and chocolate does mix. I'm on team orange and chocolate is the mix. In fact, if anything, I don't like the chocolate part of the orange and chocolate as a generalization. What's up, Tico and Gunsta? Very orange. You can taste the orange peel, which is one of my favorite Chinese herbs. Orange peel. It's in 4 gentlemen. It's in 6 gentlemen. I'm gonna go with. I low key like this. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 3. I would eat the skin. I'd also probably want to see what other flavors of waffles they have. Who here loves Hi-Chews? There's a bootleg Ike's in Atlanta. VW. I was just in Atlanta giving a talk at the QSR Revolution conference. Met a lot of great folks there. And I went to the same spot 3 days in a row for lunch. I have to wash this chocolate out of my mouth. Smells delicious. All right, Lilikoi. We used to have a Lilikoi soda at the first Ike's from a product of Hawaii. It smells delicious. If you don't know what a Lilikoi is, this is what it looks like. I haven't had too many Hi-Chews in my life. This is exploding in my mouth. This is my favorite thing from these things. Only available in Hawaii, which I don't know why. Like, would people not want a Lilikoi in the United, like the mainland, or for a what do you call it, a chewy candy or a gummy candy kind of thing? Like, if you're in Hawaii, I suggest picking up a pack. Why not? You'll be happy that you did. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 3. If you're in Hawaii, grab one. You don't need like a whole case, and like unless you try it and you're in love with it, but definitely eating however many in here, I'm gonna enjoy that. Now I'm gonna get it all out of my mouth. I'll be chewing on this the rest of the show. So I guess let's just move on to my next talk. Thank you so much, Out of Town Pop, for the hook up on those snacks. I look forward to seeing you next time I see you. All right. This is a tweet from Alex Hormozy. Unlike most of the topics I talk about on my X Talk, I don't follow those people. I actually follow Hormozy on this one. So got this in my mouth. That's all right. I'll go anyway. Think about the problems you stressed about 10 years ago. They seem laughable now. For the most part, like 99% of your problems 10 years ago. Ha 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 ha. Think about my problems 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, me 10 years ago to now. Holy geez. This is even better than I thought it was going to be. So think about the problems you stressed over 10 years ago. They seem laughable now. And 10 years from now, you'll feel the same way about the problems you're stressing over right now. Not because your problems are small, but because you become so much bigger by comparison. I would go in even further because I agree with this. 10 years ago, my problems, ha 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 ha. And 10 years from now, I'm going to be like, these problems, that was easy, or it was whatever it was, even though it wasn't easy in the moment. Not only that, if you already know 10 years from now that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want this exactly the way that I wanted it to be, then you should just act like that today. Just act like that today. Just act like it doesn't matter today. Just act like they're problems right now, even though they're huge problems. No matter how huge, they're laughable, or they'll be an adventure that you'll talk about one day. My crappy times at Mission Plaza Market, I laugh about those now. I'm talking about I would cry and think my life was over and was so stressed as where all my hair went. But now I'm like, oh man, remember that dumb stuff we used to be doing at Mission PZ? So think about the problems you stressed over about 10 years ago. They seem laughable now. And 10 years from now, you'll feel the same way about the problems you stress over today. Not because your problems are small. They're not. But because you become so much bigger by comparison to your problems. And if also that's true, wouldn't you then be like, oh, bring me all the problems because I want to be 10x bigger than those problems? And what's up, Jill? What's up, Clairvoyant? Right? I'll say it one more time before I move off because it's really important. Think about the problems you stressed over about 10 years ago. They seem laughable now. In 10 years from now, you're going to feel exactly the same way about the problems you stressed over today. Don't believe me? Just look at your problems from last year or 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And then 10 years before that. Aren't they laughable now? It's not because your problems aren't small, because they're not, but because you become so much bigger by comparison. And that's my X talk. All right, the war of art. Where do we leave off? Resistance and isolation. Real quick. Resistance and isolation. Sometimes we balk at embarking on an enterprise because we're afraid of being alone. We feel comfortable with the tribe around us. It makes us nervous going off into the woods on our own. Here's the trick. We're never alone. As soon as we step outside the campfire glow, our muse lights on our shoulder like a butterfly. Think about it like little Tinkerbell. The act of courage calls forth infallibly, that deeper part of ourselves that supports and sustains us. Have you seen interviews with the young John Lennon or Bob Dylan? When the reporter asked, I saw one about Bob Dylan saying about how he didn't think he could write music anymore like he used to because that wasn't him. It came from somewhere else. I was watching this video. I'm pretty sure it was on X. And it was an interview, and he's like, "No, I can't write anything new. That time is gone. Whatever it was that was whispering in my ear is not here anymore." Or he closed himself off to it. Have you seen interviews with the young John Lennon or Bob Dylan when the reporter tries to ask about their personal selves? And yes, I have seen. I literally just saw one a little bit ago. What a freaking coincidence, actually. I remember I was like, oh, I remember that chapter where you talked about Bob Dylan. The boys deflect these queries with withering sarcasm. Why? Because Lennon and Dylan know that the part of them that writes the songs is not them, not the personal self that is such surpassing fascination to their boneheaded interrogators. No, literally, Bob Dylan was trying to tell the interviewer, an old interviewer, or an older, way old interview. He's like, nah, man, I don't think I can write songs anymore. I forget what album they were talking about. He's like, I don't know where that came from, and I don't think I can do it again. Yeah, that part of me is gone. Like, he was legit saying that, and the guy interviewing him was thinking, "What are you talking about? You're one of the greatest lyric writers of all freaking time, and you're telling me that you don't think you can do it again?" He was baffled. Not Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan seemed like he was at peace with that. He wasn't going to be able to write brilliance ever again. Although I don't know. I don't know the timing on it. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't ever again. He seemed okay with it, or resolved to it, or resigned to it. The interview was like, what? Lennon and Dylan also know that the part of themselves that does the writing is too sacred, too precious, too fragile to be reduced into sound bites for the titillation of would-be idolaters, who are themselves caught up in their own resistance. So they put them on and blow them off. Now, I don't know if he was being facetious, like, oh no, I can't write them anymore, because he didn't want to be asked that question anymore. Or if you legit believe that he couldn't. But it'd just be me like going over here going, I don't know, man. I just don't have any more sandwiches in me. That was the last one. Yeah, no, that's it. No more new sandwiches, man. I don't know where they all came from, but that part of me that's trying to make new sandwiches, that part's gone, man. Just enjoy the sandwiches I've already made. I've made plenty of good sandwiches. Why do I even have to make new sandwiches? Just eat the old ones. They're still pretty damn good, man. That's basically Bob Dylan's interview with the dude. Just listen to my old songs, man. Why create new ones? I got some great ones. I can't create new ones anyway. Exactly. That was basically me being Bob Dylan in that interview. It is commonplace among artists and children at play that they're not aware of time or solitude while they're chasing their vision. The hours fly. The sculptress and the tree climbing tyke both look up, blinking when mom calls supper time. Resistance and isolation. What's up, Sandra? What's up, Courtney? What's up, JB? What's up, Kino? Resistance and isolation. Have you spoken to your muse? Have you thanked them? Oh my gosh. I will say one thing that I've learned to be grateful of is when I get a great idea or I even remember a great idea that I had from before that I've already done. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like wherever, thank you. I do that often. I wouldn't say every single time, though. I'm like, it's so often I'm just like, oh my freaking God, thank you. I don't know where it came from. God, muse, the ether, the universe, somebody whispering in my ear, some spirit from the other. I don't know where some great ideas come from. And likely when you've had amazing ideas, you have no clue where those ideas came from, but you can speak to them. And even if you don't think you can, you sure as heck can thank them. Inspiration is never a lone action. It's never just you by yourself with nothing and no influence. Even if you sat in the woods seeking enlightenment or inspiration, you might hear the birds chirp. I'm actually hearing birds chirp right now. I wonder where that's coming from. You're going to feel the wind on your skin or smell the trees, feel the heat. Remember a tremendous meal you had one day. It's never an alone action. You're never alone. There's always somebody or something there with you. Sometimes that someone or something is a bird, a little bird hopping around, chasing G Spot Fit earlier today. Could be just how the wind blows, or something could just whisper into your ear some idea. It pops in your mind as if it appeared from nowhere, and you're like, oh my God, where did this amazingness come from? The deepest connection between you and the universe is where these things come from. If you're paying attention to the world, the wind blowing your hair, oh my God, I used to love that. The wind blowing on my head can create and stir an idea within. When you're out there and you're looking and you're attempting to create inspiration or find great ideas, even if you're just sitting at your table or your desk in your office by yourself, it still takes two to tango. As we move forward, there's the old part of us that gets shed. We move forward and we're never going to be the same person. Good and for bad. If you believe in good and bad. For improvement or disimprovement. Oftentimes, this means the folks that go with those old parts of us, the old us, also do not come along for the ride. Look throughout your life. Who in your family or friends or lovers that you've grown out of and away from by moving towards what it is that you would like. From my experience, we never actually lose, nor do we leave them. They just get transformed into something or someone else. You can still always love them, even if they're not around. Even if they left, you can still love them. Even if you left, you can still send them love. Or even if they blew up at you, or you grew apart from them, you can still think of them and send them great things. They also still see us. They still see us in their minds and their memories, or if you go out and create greatness, they'll see your face in 100-something restaurants. They also get the benefit of us moving forward, even if only unconsciously. There's so many people that I don't talk to anymore that I'm upset with, or they were upset with me back then, that now they message me like, oh my God, thinking of you, saw your face. Like, oh man, I haven't talked to that person in years. But moving towards whatever it is and growing, becoming this new part of you, people will benefit, even those that you drift apart from, even if they are the ones who chose to drift away from you. What's up, Danny? There is this suffering obligation of love through this is from Bert Hellinger. If you read his book, Love's Hidden Symmetry, the suffering obligation of love, he says it's the things that we do to each other or for each other on behalf of each other to be connected to each other. Stephen Pressfield alludes to it, and we haven't gotten there yet, so I'll bring it up when we get there. But the suffering obligation of love is, we'll look at it now. We see people suffering, and then we want to help them, even though if us helping them is actually going to hurt us, literally or figuratively. But we do it because we're like, oh, I love you. Yet, even in the suffering obligation of love, it serves us and it serves them to move forward anyway. Casca Fayette style too. And I don't know if you remember the Casca Fayette quote, it is essentially this: every time we're conflicted with moving forward, we're just as equally conflicted with having to leave others behind. And it is in the illusion of conflict in this decision that has given me the most growth. So there's an illusion in the conflict of, as you're moving forward, having to move forward, you have to leave others exactly where they are. And we're like, oh my God, there's a conflict here. There's a conflict here. We make up that there's a conflict here. But there's actually not a conflict. You moving forward, if they're connected to you, even if just by a short little string, you'll pull them forward. Eventually. And then they'll thank you for it later too. So the Casca Fayette, I'm paraphrasing Casca Fayette, I don't have it in front of me right now. So every time I'm conflicted with having to move forward, I'm just as equally as conflicted as allowing for others to be exactly where they are. It is in the illusion of conflict in the situation that has contributed to my most growth. Hey, what's up, Ava? Great to see you again. And I'll say that one more time. Casca Fayette is every time we're conflicted with having to move forward, we're just as equally as conflicted as when we're allowing others to remain exactly where they are. We do gain new friends. So this is an illusion having to leave other people behind. They'll eventually move towards where you are. And we don't. We're not leaving them behind. We're allowing for them to stay exactly where they are without blaming them for anything. The most important one, the most important friend we gain is the company of our true self or the company of our other self. It will forever be number one, ourselves versus ourselves. That's all life ever is, even in this fake internal conflict, Casca Fayette style. So which things do when you do them, do time fly by with? Or which things? What are the things that when you do, time stands still? Look in those areas and find your inspiration. And remember, when you get what you would like, great. And when you don't get what you would like, even better. Your well-being is your greatest contribution to humanity. No exceptions, ever. I'll catch you next time.